today. We went to see how almost every Nigerian is leaving, every Nigerian politician is leaving the PDP and going to the APC. And Nigerians say, okay, a lot of them have EFCC on their back. But one of the things, well, let me start by welcoming Mahmoud Akua. Mahmoud.
Well, I am the M, that is Mahmoud Akua. And of course, as usual, very excited to be here today on the O&M Sunday Show. Well, like Obiora was telling you, yes, we are just back from the southeast, where, of course, again, this past weekend, one of the staunch members of PDP moved to the APC. But Obiora, I think that, you know, I mean, in Lagos State, you saw what happened. Obanikoro moved, you know.
And I don't know if you know that it's hurting Fani Kaide so much. There was a piece this morning.
Well, I mean, it will definitely hurt him.
Upsetting him.
Yes, it's upsetting him. But, you know, you can't really blame these guys. Because if you look at the internal wranglings in the PDP and the inability of the elder statesmen, as it were, in PDP to try to bring some resolution to their internal crisis, you won't blame a lot of these guys who are just jumping ship from PDP to APC. I mean,
no, but a lot of people are saying
the cracks,
because of the EFCC that's after them. You know, someone like Obanikoro, you know, he has this big issue.
He's been refunding some of the money.
Sullivan Chime, you know, there's this 450 million.
Yeah, the investigation is on.
Investigation is on.
Yes.
Then a couple of them.
You can.
But you heard Sullivan clearly yesterday saying that, look, I'm going here because PDP is dead. PDP should be buried. Actually, he went further to say that the INEC should deregister PDP because it was no longer existent. Well, but he also said that, look, it has nothing to do with EFCC. And I'm sure if we track Obanikoro down, he will say it has nothing to do with EFCC. But PDP is accusing the ruling party that all the guys, when they move to the APC, the fight with EFCC just dies a natural death.
Well, but for someone like Obanikoro, really, there won't really be much to do after now. He struck a deal with the EFCC, I mean, in his bargain with them.
He's already paying back.
Yes, so there's an arrangement for him to pay back whatever monies he misappropriated. So he's already paying back. So, I mean, that deal is established. It's not like they're going to go back on the deal or, you know, something. So his case with the EFCC is somehow already settled.
Determined.
Yes, except he does not find the money to pay back.
Anyway. Just watch the program. Sullivan Ihana Chochime will be a guest on this program in a very short while.
Yes.
So we won't tell you when, how soon. So just keep watching so you can hear all the things he has said about the PDP and the future.
And I think that he has a whole lot to say and to
He's
talk
saying
about.
A whole lot.
And I think Nigerians need to wait for that interview and watch it, and you'll be surprised and amazed at the revelations that will come out. You will get to know a little bit of the nitty-gritty of the real causes of the problems in the PDP.
Well, on the O&M, when we see it going wrong, we say so. And when we see people doing the right thing, we say so. Kudos to the government of Nigeria.
Yes,
on the release of the Chibok girls. We don't know what was the deal. We don't know what the negotiations were.
Yeah.
But the entire world, not just Nigerians, there's this sigh of relief everywhere that 82.
Yes. Yeah, there's some discrepancy in the number. 80, 82, 81, whatever it is 80 something.
Yes.
And, you know, this one, nobody can take away from Muhammadu Buhari.
Yes.
Yes. Even in his not very healthy state, this is a wonderful achievement. Yes, he's still making things happen. This is a wonderful achievement. For the parents of those girls, we join you in celebrating.
We say congratulations.
Join you saying congratulations. And
for those that have not gotten their children back,
we continue to pray.
Prayers.
Yeah, we'll continue to pray.
We won't give up. I mean, the government has shown us that You know, because when we had all these young girls in the suicide attempts and successful
one
suicide,
thought that
we got so worried whether these girls were being used for suicide missions.
Yes.
But having these people out and seeing, we're going to see them today, the president is going to receive them sometime today at the villa. Seeing them today will go further to tell us that, look, all hope is not lost, and we still have hope that the others will be released. I don't know whether we should...
We call on President Muhammadu Buhari, who today, for me, you know, wonderful president, and I say from the bottom of my heart to President Buhari today, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. President,
thank you so much
for bringing these girls home. And don't stop there. When they released the first set of girls, he did say that, you know, work is continuing.
Was working hard on
we have seen the result, Mr. President. Another set of girls are out. Don't stop there until we get all our girls back home. We thank you so much, and we pray that you continue to do this good work.
Thank you, sir. And we need to, you know, anywhere we think people are doing the right thing, we have to talk about it.
Yes.
There's a man that they call Otumba Sheguron Shewe.
Yes.
He used to be the Director General of the Tourism.
Yes, the
Tourism Board, Nigerian Tourism Board.
Yeah, the tourism.
I can't get it very correctly. But now he has moved to NC, the National
Council for Arts and Culture.
That's
National
where
Council for Arts and Culture.
It's not even up to a month. But you won't believe it. Just a couple of days back, Otumba Ronshewe and his team at that organization,
the council,
they have pulled a 300 million deal with the Bank of Industry, and this deal, we understand, is going to create 200,000 jobs.
Well,
this man is just resuming.
Yes, when you talk about, you know, creating jobs and doing what is necessary to get the youths off the street, yeah, it shouldn't it shouldn't just be talk. It should be talk and action. And I think that what we have seen this week, the signing of this memorandum of understanding between the Bank of Industry and the Council of Arts and Culture to release 300 million naira, which will go to a lot of young people. At the end of the day, provide a lot of jobs. And the government is really looking at about 200,000 jobs. And that is no small feat at all. 200,000 to be able, yes, to engineer something that can provide jobs for youths and, you know, take about 200,000 off unemployment market. It's
huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
And we say congratulations to Otumba Ronshewe. You know, Otumba was in tourism, and he made a lot of impact in tourism. And this is what I think this is like what they call putting the square pegs in square holes. But Otumba, you just did this one. If you're watching us, if you or if you're not, those that are watching should tell you. You pull this one. Let it not be like a one-off.
Yeah.
So we expect that you go there and, you know, do it as usual, and let those of us that think you're doing the right thing, let's continue to be proud of you.
Proud of you, yes.
Yeah.
Obiora, today we're going to talk about Nigeria. I mean, recently, of course, the country witnessed the eventual release of Nnamdi Kanu, of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. One of his grounds, really, was that he felt that he was not part of Nigeria because things that were happening in Nigeria for him meant that he was somewhat marginalized and oppressed. And he didn't have
no sense of belonging.
Yeah, no sense of belonging.
A particular part of Nigeria probably are taking everything.
Yeah.
And the rest are just spectators.
So, I mean, and then when you come away from that, only recently there was this convocation.
Okay, Alani Akinriade.
No, okay, that's the book now we are talking about. No, I was actually referring to members of the past conference, national conference.
Okay, yes.
Yes, that had a meeting in the premises of AIT, really.
Hosted by Chief Raymond Dokpe.
And they were saying, look, there were over 600 recommendations from that committee, from that conference, that Nigerians need to look at it again. One of it again is restructuring and how to restructure Nigeria. So, and then there is a book from General Kiriade, of course.
And everything that was said there was about restructuring.
And then one of the biggest, if you like, fish that we have politically, Atiku Abubakar.
That is his mantra.
Yes, that he's been talking now that, look, we need to restructure Nigeria so that we can continue to have a one united Nigeria. I mean, for me, what he's trying to say is that, look, if you don't restructure Nigeria, sit down together and have this discourse, somehow Nigeria will restructure itself, and that will not be nice for all the different units. That may not be positive. Yeah, it may not be positive. So this is the time to sit down and talk about how do we move forward as a country.
Today, we are starting our focus on restructuring Nigeria. Because almost every Nigerian, and it's funny, Mahmoudi, almost every Nigerian thinks that he is marginalized. If you talk to the man in the Northeast, he says he's been marginalized. You talk to the man in the Northwest, you talk to South, you talk to the thieves, you talk to the man from Jos. Everybody feels marginalized.
Basically.
Which means that there's a need for this discussion.
There's a need to sit down and agree.
Talk about and make the issue restructuring.
Yes. And in fact, for the political class, whether they like it or not, the 2019 elections will be centered on the issue of restructuring Nigeria. A lot of Nigerians will give their votes to people who will come out and say, yes, it is true, we need to restructure, and we're going to, if you vote us in, we're going to restructure. Anybody who is not selling that in 2019 really is not wanting to win that election.
Okay, that's the topic we are looking at today, and we have two gentlemen that will do justice to it. But Mahmoud, there was something we noticed on our way today, and we said we must talk about it. Our airports are dying gradually. Most of the airports, the air conditioners don't work. The security machines, and that's the most dangerous of it, don't work. Yes, we gave kudos to Sirika, that's the Minister of State for Aviation, when they did that miracle of, resurfacing. Is it rebuilding?
It's resurfacing, really, basically.
The
runway.
The runway.
In Abuja.
We gave kudos, and all Nigerians gave kudos. That's good. But our airports, we were just leaving the Enugu airport today, and the air conditioners are not working. A part of the building has fallen off. Nobody is doing anything about it.
The screening machine not working.
Not working.
So, I mean, you have to turn your bags inside out, for these, airport officers. That's not foolproof.
Sometimes they're tired, you come, they just wave you over. So we are calling on the minister.
That's just Enugu.
That's just Enugu.
On Wednesday, I was at the Port Harcourt airport, flew in from Abuja to Port Harcourt, and it's maybe the runway is the only thing that is functioning in the Port Harcourt airport.
And ditto for most of the other airports.
When you come out from the aircraft, you have to all assemble under a canopy, and then they bring the bags and just dump them somewhere, and everybody's rushing, fighting to, sort out his or her own bag. I mean, there's really nobody taking care of those things. They just bring the bags, dump them, and it's really under open air. So whether it's raining, it's the Port Harcourt airport. Apart from being the worst in Nigeria, maybe I might hazard a guess to say it's probably the worst in Africa. Honestly. So
the Minister of Aviation, Minister of State for Aviation, and then the Minister of Transport,
who incidentally, my friend, former governor of Rivers State for 8 years, wrote to me, do something about the Port Harcourt airport. You have no excuse. You have to do something about the Port Harcourt airport, and then other airports
not just Port Harcourt airport. All the airports, they need to do something. Well, today we said we are talking restructuring, so let's right away invite our guests, BAFFA SALEH, who is Executive Director, Initiative for Transparency and Accountability, Yes, and Valentine OFFIA, who is a law reform advocate. Gentlemen, we are glad to have you.
We will welcome Valentine. Please, gentlemen, sit down. We'll take a short break. When we come back, our interview starts. Don't go away.
Are you watching Nigeria's biggest late night show?
We are putting Buhari before you. Will he lead us well?
He is a man of integrity. He's a glory to Nigeria.
What we're talking about is the operations in the field.
No, at times the media likes to pontificate. But
let me actually say that gargantuan projects that they are attempting to do are supposed to be left for the states. Let's make a sacrifice in the interest of the masses of this country by reducing our own pay.
Many people who are arguing about the activities of nations and are doing so out of ignorance.
Don't interrupt me. You are a foster.
I hope to win an award. Who knows, maybe next year.
This last election, we lost majority, but we didn't do bad.
Yeah, because we really shared the money well.
let us keep praying for our country, Nigeria.
People should rally around us to ensure that they give us relevant support, they give us timely information so that we do what we're supposed to be at all times towards this country.
O&M Late Show and O&M Sunday Show with Obira Ilo and Mahmoudia Koga. Tuesdays, 11 p.m. and on Sunday, 2 p.m.
Welcome back. It's still the O&M Sunday Show. Yes, today our topic, of course, will be restructuring in Nigeria. And we have in the studios already Valentine OFFIA, legal practitioner, BAFFA SALEH, politician, businessman, and activist. But I think that we should begin with Valentine. Because there are a lot of Nigerians who say, look, when you talk about restructuring, when you talk about all the issues surrounding restructuring, maybe you want to talk about a referendum, you want to talk about, how do you bring a restructuring about? Is it even a possibility under the current constitution which we operate as a nation?
Mahmoud, do we even understand what is restructuring? Do we understand it? What is restructuring, and is it possible within the setup, the constitutional setup we have now?
On the issue of whether we do understand it or not, I don't think it's important to even agree on a specific definition
of restructuring.
What that means. It's definitely going to mean so many things to different people. What is important is just this, that we recognize that there is something fundamentally wrong with the country and that we need to address that issue. That is what is important. So whether I call it restructuring, reformation, even secession.
Well, yeah, for those of us who are, who are managers of companies, from the corporate side, my understanding will be restructuring is to bring about a drastic change in an organization, so in such a way to affect the different components and make it become more profitable.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But that's, when we talk about restructuring now, one thing is very important. We have to touch on the system of government.
So politically, is it the same thing? Like, I mean, in business, I know what it means. Politically, would that be the same thing politically?
Maybe BAFFA should come in here.
Okay, from my layman understanding, like you said, it has to be a situation whereby if you're doing a presidential system, you totally change to parliamentary, or if you're in a unitary government, you move into a federal government or a confederation.
Okay.
Like unfortunately now we don't even know what we have in Nigeria. Is it the only thing that we know is that the center is very powerful, and the states are, but the weakest link is the local government, and that's where it's supposed to be. We're supposed to make stronger.
Okay, gentlemen, restructuring Val says that something is fundamentally wrong with the country.
We agree.
You know, so are we going to talk about restructuring in terms of the type of government? You understand what I mean? Like you said, are we going to restructure in terms of resource control? Are we going to restructure in terms of, you know, giving, you know, seriousness to federal character? Because if you remember the recent DSS thing that we heard, you know, these are some of the things that
You began your program by mentioning the condition, the situation at the Port Harcourt Airport. And the fundamental question now is this: who is responsible? And when we talk about restructuring, that's what we are talking about. You have to ask yourself, why is it that the people of Port Harcourt is in Rivers State? So why is it that the people of Rivers State who use that airport daily have no powers to address the situation as it is? That is the question you have to ask yourself. Why must the people of Rivers State wait for somebody who is not even within Rivers State
That's never been
to
there
come and
before.
address that problem?
It's a federal government, and airports fall
under the
under
constitution, under
yeah,
the responsibility
of the federal government.
And that is
in
why the
Abuja.
airports are in the state they are right now. And that is what we are talking about, that we need to move these responsibilities from the level where it is, where the government is so much alienated from the people. Move it down. More like a devolution of powers.
what
Get
kind
close.
of government would that be? Would it be unitary? Will it be
The
parliamentary?
tag
Will it
is
be
not even important. For academic purposes, whatever we tag it, all right. After when you talk about democracy, how it's practiced in Nigeria, UK, France, US, is all different.
Very, very
You get
different.
it? Whether I have a president, chancellor, well, it doesn't matter. What is
Prime
important
Minister.
is that this is what we must do.
what
to
you
start
achieved?
Yes. You get it? So if you want that airport to be fixed, if you want that airport to be effectively run, then you must remove this responsibility from the center and transfer it more to the local level. But that is not just all. You can't transfer responsibility without transferring the wherewithal to execute that
The
responsibility.
economic.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are now
The
talking
economic
about
devolution.
yes, we are now also talking about addressing taxation issue, revenue. The federal government cannot appropriate all revenue to itself. You get it? And then shrink this responsibility. So as you are transferring, say these states maintain the airports. Also, you have to give them the powers, get it, to tax and to raise money and to do what they must do.
And put those, you
It
know,
becomes a shameful thing for a state not to maintain an airport within its domain. And you see the competition, you see what will happen.
healthy rivalry.
Definitely. The competition that you need to
Just
move
like
this
in the
country
60s.
forward.
In the 60s is the only time that I think we had some sort of government that everybody felt, every region felt that yes, things were working.
Have a stake.
During Sadona, Awolowo, and the rest. That was the only time that Nigeria was really working. Nigeria is not currently working, and we need to work on it.
We need to do a
Yes.
radical surgery on it.
Like for instance, you stated earlier that is it the devaluation of the economy or is it the power? It's both. Like I said, there's agitation in the southeast for secession. Not everybody is in support, but some are. But I believe the region that's even closer to attaining that is the southwest. They are more organized. They have common interests. So if we're going to talk about the evaluation of powers and the rest, I think we should go back to regional government. But at the same time, I believe that the center is too strong. We have to reduce the power. I believe that it's going to be a very good idea for the federal government to keep 40% and 60% states. But I also, that's a confederal system. But I believe one of the major reasons why Nigeria is not working is the local government is the weakest link. But in other countries, local government are very powerful. So we have to make our local governments very powerful because they know there are problems. They directly are in touch with the people. So we need to do that. I don't care if Rivers State will keep 60%. The 40% that I am saying that the federal should keep is because the military, the security, and foreign affairs, and I am totally in support of restructuring the country, because if we don't, we're sitting in a time bomb, especially in the north.
In the north?
Especially in the north. Boko Haram was the time bomb that exploded, and there are still time bombs that are going to explode, because all those almajiris that you see in the road, they are going to be easily, they're looking for food. With 15 naira, you'll tell them do something and they will do. So they, like for instance, they will see my son go to school, they pick him in the car in the air condition, he comes back, go for lessons. Since morning till evening, they'll be looking for food. And they will hate my son. I'm working legitimately, getting money, I'm not doing anything, but they will hate him because the government has failed them. And it's because of the elite in the elites in the country. And we've been having terrible leadership in the country.
But a lot of Nigerians, like the man from the southeast, for instance, will actually be looking at you, whether you actually know what you're talking about. That the agitation, that this time bomb will come first from the north before it comes from the south and comes from the southeast, because they all think that the south is taking everything. I mean, the north is taking everything, positions, leadership, and all that.
Well, you see, when it comes to that politics, and everybody has its argument.
It's not true.
Everybody has its argument. And one of the biggest problems that we have in Nigeria is nepotism. Nepotism.
Okay.
Every government comes, when Jonathan was here, people were complaining. We thought that, okay, when this government comes, nepotism will go away. Unfortunately, it's still there. And until we fight that, and the only way to fight it is to go back to regional government. Because if I'm from the north, I'm a Hausa, Fulani, I'm a Muslim from my state, Jigawa State, and I know you are too. The issue is just leadership. There's no issue of religion, or you have given my somebody that's not a Muslim or someone from the east. Nobody will talk about it. It's just about governance. So regional government is the best thing for Nigeria at the moment, and making local governments very strong. But like I said, the problem is that we have to change a lot in the constitution. Unfortunately, the National Assembly, you know how the National Assembly is.
How
is the National Assembly?
Everybody knows. They're not ready to change it.
Affect
the National
any
Assembly,
change.
right from 1999, they have initiated several efforts that amended the constitution. I think where we have the problem is outside the National Assembly, the houses of assemblies, the states.
The governors. The governors, because actually the governors dictate what happens in the House of Assembly.
If you remember, there was a time, I think during Umaru, that the houses rejected autonomy.
They rejected autonomy.
So it's just like you. Your father said, "I'm going to give you a house and a car," and you bomb. I don't want to go.
No, but BAFFA, I mean, let's face facts. You know why they rejected autonomy for local governments. You know, like what Obiora said, the governors control
the funds.
Yeah, so the governors, and they even control the personnel. I mean, the governor of a state, we've had some governors in Nigeria who refuse to conduct elections to local governments in their states.
Not in Nigeria. We still have them.
We still have them.
We still have them.
Some do not even have caretakers.
So they were just appointing, and then some of them just left the civil servants there. After a while, they appoint caretaker chairman. They, after 3 months, they are unhappy with them. They just
they control the money from the government house.
But if you remember in the 90s during Babangida, when we started the democracy, if you remember, the local government chairman were very powerful. Local government chairman was seen doing work. But now you don't see them doing anything because they only get the salary. That's the reason why they don't pay salary, because they have to chop from the salary.
Because the governors have tampered, with their allocations already.
So
now, Valentine, looking at how complex this problem is, why are Nigerian politicians afraid of restructuring? Why are they, for instance, our National Assembly members, afraid of amending the Constitution. We all seem to know what our problem is. Why can't our politicians, brave it and say, look, we need to bring some drastic changes, to take place in this country?
I believe they're not afraid. I believe that efforts have been made at addressing this problem. But, however, it is slow, it is cumbersome, and the major problem we have had is that it requires the consent of everybody, not just the National Assembly. For you to amend this constitution, you are going to require the consent of the states.
2/3.
And the states have so far, up to now, not given their consent to a lot of these proposals, up to now. However, even as we speak, the National Assembly, they are still working on amending the constitution. I read the other day that there's a proposal to now have independent candidates, which is a very fundamental change. If that happens,
very welcome.
That's going to be a very fundamental change from what we have experienced so far. Now, what people want to see is instant change. That will not happen. What is going to happen is that we are going to make progress incrementally, and I'll give you an example. When we began this journey in 1999, the law then was very simple. You didn't even need to have stood for election, passed through the party primaries before getting into office, being elected into office. But that was changed later as a result of our experiences. The law then was that once the party chairman submits your name to INEC, whether there was a primary election or not, you are the candidate of the party. But that has been amended to now have stipulates that you must have been a candidate
and a member of a political party.
Member of party, and you must have won your primaries and so on. So we are making progress.
But this progress, unfortunately, Valentine, only in the areas of elections and the area of these politicians satisfying their, desires. We are talking about fundamental. For instance,
the fundamental change you are referring to is the exclusive list.
Now, hold on. Yeah. I'm trying to bring something to your attention. Nnamdi Kanu was recently released. Very stringent bail conditions. Finally met them. Is out of Kuje prisons. Before he was incarcerated, the issues that he threw up, bordering on, sense of belonging in the federal Nigerian project, those issues, if the National Assembly were to begin work on restructuring Nigeria, will Nnamdi Kanu be relevant anymore? If Nigeria was to say, look, we want to restructure this country now so that every region, like he said, he was advocating regions. If that were to happen, will Nnamdi Kanu be talking about leaving the Nigerian project? Who does not like the size and of Nigeria and the population and the strength, and the giants of Africa? So would he find any relevance in leaving?
That is why I said whether you even call it cessation, reformation, restructuring, we are talking about the same thing. We are just talking about somebody's grudge with the situation as it is. Now, this Nnamdi Kanu issue is a bit baffling to me as a person. And the reason is this. He has not said anything that any other person
has said before.
Didn't say. Nnamdi Kanu said there's something wrong with the country, we need to address it. Afenifere said the same. ACF said the same. Ohaneze said the same. Everyone agrees that we have a fundamental problem to address. So why do we have these, sometimes I can perceive some personal animosity towards the man?
No, but
the way he followed.
Didn't ask for secession.
No.
He's asked for secession.
People have asked for secession in the past.
Yeah, but maybe they
people
were
have
not.
asked for secession.
No, Nnamdi Kanu's problem was that he operated a pirate radio station. So that was a very fundamental issue.
Operating a pirate radio station, is that reasonable? Is that what all the noise is about? No.
Well, you see, the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, I feel one of the issues that some people feel is that he operated, he called Nigeria a zoo. Even if it's true, but you see, the southeast.
Obviously, that's not true.
Yes. The southeast is still part of Nigeria, And there are ways in which you can bring out your grudges.
I still
Not to say that you're going to bomb, destroy. All this language it's not going to help.
But I still recall a very renowned, revered statesman in Nigeria who described Nigeria as a mere geographical expression.
Yes, I heard that too.
Who was that?
Awolowo.
I heard that.
Awolowo.
No, but
Nigeria is a mere geographical
yes,
expression.
I agree. But
that was his opinion.
His
What did
opinion,
we do?
but
Did we kill him?
no, but he didn't say to kill or destroy.
He didn't say he would take up arms against
He didn't say anything. He didn't
I also remember he went to prison. They said
that was
allegation.
You know, that's
leveled
politics.
against him because that was politics. Then.
So why,
what is happening today? Same thing.
So if he went to prison,
Yes.
Val,
Yes.
why are you now saying that you don't understand why Nnamdi Kanu should be
What I'm saying is that
harassed or-
the opinions of Nnamdi Kanu that I have read in the media, I've never met him. I have any
You
contact
have never
with
watched
him.
his videos.
What kind of opinions?
Some of them are very.
Those same opinions he has expressed politically has been expressed by every other person, including myself.
Okay,
And that is what we are discussing
Okay,
today,
gentlemen,
restructuring
gentlemen,
Nigeria.
let's-
And I have a question,
Gentlemen,
just one
okay.
question from you.
Okay.
If we are so aggrieved against this young man, have we arrested the policeman who said he will kill 200 people a few days ago?
They say they are looking for him.
Who is looking for him?
The police. They say they are
They are
looking for
looking
him.
for their own personnel.
That's Nigeria for you. You see,
Have we
double-
arrested that
Okay,
man?
okay. Val, let's
Is
move.
that not worse
Val,
than whatever
double
Nnamdi
standards.
Kanu has ever said?
Valentine, let's move forward, gentlemen.
Yes.
You know, restructuring. We've had national conferences. We've had constitutional conferences. We've had conferences of all manners, some sovereign,
Economic, everything,
sovereign
every type.
national conference. Once again, we are talking about restructuring. The Jonathan administration spent billions,
On a conference.
you know, at a conference. The thing is gathering dust somewhere. This restructuring we are talking about, are we going to do what Valentine has said, that these laws incrementally as they come up will be addressed and all that? Or do we intend to have another congregation of a national conference, or what's the call? Are we going to let?
whatever name
Are we
you
going
call
to
it.
let our National Assembly members do what the Constitution has said they should do?
Let's admit it. Even in respect of National Assembly, they don't have much work to do. You see, like you said, we have had several, countless, innumerable conferences. The reports are there.
Yeah.
You get it. All the recommendations are there. We have only one problem. At the inception of this administration, this issue came up. And this administration said, we will not take a look at those reports. That is the only problem we have.
Because the majority of them did not participate. For
Yes, it
instance,
doesn't matter.
what,
yeah, but
what
it doesn't matter. You see,
the
You have to
ACN,
read it.
The ACN
yes, they should go
refused
through
to
it.
You
participate.
have to go through
Yeah,
it.
but as another
and then you
group-
have to say, you have to express what your objection is. And then people will debate it. There will be a flowering of ideas.
So
as
how
Peter
are we
Nahara
going to do it? Are we going to get all those constitutional conference and whatever,
No, I think that would
and
be-
then appoint a committee to review it?
I think.
So how are we going
Yes,
to go
you
about
see,
this?
is
You
a
know,
good- the
restructuring
issue of
is
having-
important.
The issue of just having a committee to review it is good, but having another jamboree, I call it jamboree because it's done almost
Periodically.
every 10 years. So
Or less.
we have what we need to do, but we just need a committee to come and say, okay, what's the way forward? Like you talked about referendum. I think the first thing that the National Assembly should do for us is put on a referendum. If there's a referendum, even the issue of the Southeast,
Does the law allow that? You are a
it doesn't
lawyer.
allow it.
Does the law allow
No, but
us
the
to have
National
a,
Assembly, if it's coming
Yeah?
from the National Assembly, I mean,
Why
the-
not?
if
I
it's
know,
coming
it's
from
not-
if it's coming from the National
There's no
Assembly,
law.
they could I mean
don't have
the
a
wishes
law,
and
why can't
desires
you pass a
of the
law?
people.
That's what I'm saying. They have to pass a law on referendum. So that's why if there's a referendum, it makes it easier. Okay, let's have a referendum on local government autonomy. Let's have a referendum on the Southeast secession. Let's have autonomy on, if we're changing from from
Federalism?
military to yes.
This is what our problem is. We said we have never had credible elections in this country. So we established the Ways Committee, called all the people we felt could address the issue. And they worked diligently on this problem and gave us a report with several recommendations what we should do. What did we do? We kept that report aside. And now we have reconstituted another Ken Nnamani committee on the same issue.
Meanwhile, we have a document.
We have a document
And it's a
already.
very good document. If you
With
read
public funds spent to produce that document. And that is what we have been doing all along. So that's why we had conferences during Abacha's time, Obasanjo's time, Goodluck Jonathan's time. Just merry-go-round. These reports are there.
So now, would you really blame somebody like Nnamdi Kanu, who has no faith in these discussions, who says that whichever way they is going to achieve their desires, but does not really believe in all these long conferences and committees and all that?
But you see, I don't blame him, but the ways, nobody wants spill of blood to be spilled.
I really don't think he wants it too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Me, whoever wants to say, maybe it's best for Nigeria to break up. I don't know. I don't wish that, but if somebody wants to leave, he can leave. But it should be peaceful. Nobody should die. What happened in the 1960s, 67, what is 60, what's the war?
It was 67 to 70.
We don't want anything of that nature. No. Because you know why? Because I know I'm someone that are very close to different people. I have Igbo fathers that have sat and talked to me about the Civil War and the grudges, and they were never what has been done for the South or what's going to happen for the North-East was not done for the Igbos. That's the major problem, the mistake that Nigeria did. If after the war we said, okay, bring them back, let's do this, okay, let's rebuild, okay, there's a fund, but we didn't do that. That's the reason why that wound is still open.
So even now, can that be addressed?
I don't know. Maybe you should ask him. He's from the area. Maybe.
Let me chip in here. I'm not too comfortable when people refer to the evils and make reference to the 60s or the Civil War and confine whatever opinion anybody from the Southeast expresses today to somehow build a tenuous link to the events of the 60s. No. You see, many evils existing today, we are not even born, we are born after the Civil War. Let's face it.
It's 50 years ago.
Today, yes. What they are talking to you about is what they are experiencing today. They're not talking about the past. That is what the problem is.
But they keep on relating even what is happening today
as an example
to what
this is a repetition.
No, it's not a repetition. It, as being directly responsible for the distrust, for the lack of confidence in the man from the Southeast, and let's face it, a lot of our political leaders today, the political leaders today are, people who determine what happens in Nigeria, unfortunately, are in their 70s. These personalities played major roles.
Then and they still do.
Yes, and then in the 60s, when they had the Civil War.
These personalities.
And even at that time, yes, so they are, unfortunately, like I said, they still determine what happens in Nigeria today. So the wound he's talking about is still very open.
These personalities, when they address the media, they refer to the actions they were involved in the past. When people of a certain generation are talking about the problems of Nigeria, like we have mentioned them, enumerated some, we are not talking about the past. I'll give you an example. I don't like talking in general terms. Let's go to specifics.
Okay.
You are from the Southeast.
South.
No, I'm giving you an example. Assuming you are from the Southeast,
yes.
You have children. You want to give them education, right?
Yeah.
Now, you encourage them to study and to sit for exams to gain admission into a federal school. And then they do well. And then the government, to whom you pay your tax to, using your money to maintain that school, informs you that your children cannot be admitted into the school because they are from the Southeast. No other reason. And you're asking why? Is it that they failed the exam? Is it that they did not meet the requirements And the only reason why they cannot be admitted is because they are from the Southeast. And that people from the Southeast cannot be admitted if the so and so, this call, blah, blah, blah.
But you have to,
discrimination?
No, it's discrimination.
How would you feel?
But you have to give us an example. I don't know.
I've
if
just
it's
gave you an example.
No,
I'm
which
talking
school?
about
Are you talking about quota system?
I don't even, I'm
That
talking
their own
about
quota,
federal
they've-
government colleges admission policy existing today. I just gave you a specific
No,
example.
wait,
that's
wait. Val,
I-
Val, are you
There are
talking
different-
about
there are-
the quota system that the Southeast quickly would exhaust their own quota for the exam?
No.
Or that
Give us an
no
example
person
of a
from the
school.
Southeast
I'm talking
can be
about applying different criteria for admission
No,
to
Valentine,
different people from
Valentine.
different regions of the
Valentine,
country. For
you are
example,
being- you are
if you are
being-
from the
you are
Southeast,
being
say you need
economical
130
with-
first.
you are being economical
If you are
with
not
the
from
truth.
the Southeast, if you have 50, please, you can get
Yeah,
admission.
but
That's
no,
what I'm
but-
talking about.
You have to explain it so that
You get
nobody
it?
thinks
That
that
somebody
there's a blanket.
tells you are from the Southeast. If your score is 130, you can't get admission unless you get.
All right,
150.
let
But
us
if you are
situate
not from the
this.
Southeast and you have 50, that is okay.
No, let's situate
That's
this.
what I'm talking about.
Let's situate it properly.
How about
and
federal
bring
character?
Let's situate
There's
it
also a
properly
federal character policy in
and
the
bring
country.
it into the
We'll
issue
talk
of
about federal
restructuring.
character.
You know why that is happening. The Southeast states are, of course, they do extremely well in WAEC, JAMB, and all that. They are at the tops. No, but I mean that's true. I mean, go and look at the list. First, Anambra, Abia, and all that. So, I mean, it's obvious now. For all the years Peter Obi was governor of Anambra, Anambra State was number one in the country, in the West African Examination Council, WAEC. So, if you look at the list, the last list, I think it came out about almost 2 months ago. I know I saw it. You see again that, you know, the Southeast states are on top. So there has to, federal character also determines that if you allow them by merit to get in, then other people will not have any education. But if you restructure Nigeria, can that take care of this problem?
Definitely, if we're going into maybe confederation, whereby the region controls its resources, controls its laws. The only laws that they cannot change is that has to do with security and foreign affairs. If we do that, nobody will complain. Because let me give you an example. Let me argue what he said. Yeah. I'm from Hadejia, Jigawa State. There's a university in there, the state government. There are Igbos in that school. But let me tell you something. You will hardly find a northerner in a Southeast university. He won't get admission.
Why?
Look, wait.
You guys are saying things that
Let me give you an example. Let me tell you something.
Yes.
In Hadejia,
Yes.
Igbos have property, but you as a northerner, you cannot even get a store in the Southeast.
Why? Who said so?
I'm saying so. I've asked. You understand? What I'm trying to say is that I'm not talking about.
BAFFA has a point. As a Nigerian who has lived in several parts of the country.
Let me give you an example.
I would
do
agree with
you know that person?
I don't know the reason why.
Do you know the person that mimics the president? One guy that has glasses and talks like this. Do you know he's Igbo? Go and ask. He's Igbo. His name is Ubuka.
No.
Yes. Go and ask. He's Igbo, and his name is Ibuka. He was born in Katsina and he was raised in Katsina. He went to school in Katsina and everything. If he speaks better Hausa than me, that's how the North is.
So, Mamode asked a question. These are the issues. Can restructuring take care of it?
I feel so, but I don't know if Val feels the same way.
Val, if we restructure Nigeria and there is each geopolitical zone constitutes itself into a region, I mean, would it really
address?
I mean, if you want to send 10,000 to university this year, what will be the problem of the South geopolitical zone, for instance? It's really not their business.
I need to clear one impression that is very popular.
Please do quickly because we are running out of time.
You see, whenever we discuss restructuring, when we discuss like the issue, I gave an example, examinations and the rest. Somehow it is projected as if the North is at a disadvantage. That is not true. Even when we talk about resource control, you know, the first thing that occurs to people is oil, petroleum. No. If you do resource control, a place like
Zamfara.
No, where you have your Kainji,
Niger,
for instance, yes. That is a place, that's the host community for your power dam. That community should have 24 hours power supply first before you talk about exporting power to any other place. And do you know what the effect of that? If that occurs, all those companies you see, even in places like Lagos State, will have to relocate to Kenji. And that is what I want Northerners to understand. This restructuring we are talking about, this whether you pay me resource control, whether it is for everybody and it's going to favor the North more than any other person.
I agree.
More than any other
I agree.
person.
Because the North has the land, we have the minerals, and the population is there. The only issue is education.
They're not exploring those minerals today.
They do, but it's like what I'm saying is it's not professional.
Gentlemen, if we have the region, for instance, we're still going to have the Nigerian Customs Service. Won't we?
The police.
We are going to still have the police. We are going to still have the army. We are going to have the external service.
Yes.
We have to go now.
So
we have to round up. Well, unfortunately, this discussion will continue at some other time.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen, for finding time to be with us.
Thank you very much.
My name is Mahmoud Akuga. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back here Tuesday night at 11 p.m.
I'm Obiora. Keep watching. So many guests are coming. Don't miss any one of them.
From AIT Studios in Abuja, Nigeria, this is the O&M Sunday Show with Obiora Ilo and Mamode Akuga.